How we doing, America? I finally got a day where I can actually slow down just a little bit, and I did. Got the last of a couple of pieces out. Yesterday, I got one mailed to one of our Blue Dots, got another one delivered to a person locally here. It's a gift for her brother. And of course, that's when my neighbor gets in touch with me. Pardon me, folks, I have absolutely got to answer this. This is the folks next door, and I need to let him know. Okay. Sorry about that, but it's important. Dad's in the hospital again, and I'm playing mean old papaw and trying to take care of things, and so you gotta attend to these things when you gotta attend to these things. But I want to talk to you a little bit today, because by the way, doing that, taking care of your neighbors, adopting a family, that's normal. It's perfectly normal. It happens all the time. A lot of caring people out there. There are a lot of people that need care. What's not normal is the way we have normalized crazy. The way this country has normalized hatred, has normalized violence, has normalized intolerance. I was triggered to do this today because I was talking with a friend, good friend, like her a lot. She's really got her head on her shoulders. She works hard. She's in the medical field, and she's going to school. She's a mom, and you know the definition in the John Cougar Mellencamp song of where he's talking about, I can remember when you could stop a clock. Yep, she's that kind of good looking, absolutely model pretty. Sometimes that's a curse, but we were talking about the intolerance and the hatred and the normalizing of crazy, and what has happened in this election cycle, and the one we thought we were getting on a better path when we kicked that orange shit stain out, but they drag him back in again. You know, it's kind of like a Godfather thing. Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in. But I didn't do that. I didn't do that orange shit stain. That was not me. But that was a good chunk of the country. And I've liked to think over the course of the last 4 years leading up to this election that we had balanced things out a little bit again, that we had done something about some of that. But then we had the election that we had. And before this, I guess to make myself feel better, I don't know. But before this, I would say, yeah, but that might be 25% that is, the ones that are the real diehards. Well, wait a minute. Half the country voted for this again. That means that half the country, even the ones that are sitting there saying, oh, well, I don't like the way he talks. Oh, I don't like a lot of his policies. Oh, I don't like the things that he did. Yeah, but you still voted against the best interest, against the safety of the people you love. You did that. It's that simple. And I feel that we've done this by normalizing crazy. But I wanted to share with you some of our discussion. What she said to me when I was talking a little bit about this was, I don't understand how so many people are so filled with hatred. I know for sure the election broke my heart as a daughter and a sister. I was raped as a child over and over. I was raped as an adult. I was forced into pregnancy, which ended in my getting an abortion. My brother is gay. The fact that other family members voted against our rights absolutely broke me. I felt depression in a way I never have. It was so lonely, but I had, and she mentioned her brother, who is gay, as my biggest support. And what I told her was what I believe. All of that is due to fear. Yeah, you're right about that, John. Half the voting population. You're correct. But that's representative, so you know what I mean. But anyway, I talked to her about my own experiences and my own people that I care for and the people that I love and I feel a need to protect, including my what I refer to as my bonus son, who is as much my son as anyone, and his husband. That being the case, he's obviously gay. And equally, that I have a transsexual child. You all know that by now. And I feel like what we've done is normalized crazy and normalized allowing them to be attacked. And she responded with, literally, I couldn't agree more. They will all think differently when it's their daughter. And then they put it all in the name of God. It's like, no, you are so far off. I really don't get it at all. I couldn't imagine taking the rights of people I love away. And for a man like Trump is even more jaw-dropping. He's vile and crude, a rapist, a fraud. I just don't understand how they're holding him in the position of highest American power as a representation of all of us. She went on to say more, but added to it that what they're doing is showing their real feelings about people of color, LGBTQ+, or anybody different. It's infuriating. I grew up on the streets, homeless, in over 21 foster homes. But I still aim to protect those people. Being born a U.S. citizen doesn't make my life any more important than the people living across a man-made border. I could go on, really. And she could. I'm in the same place. I don't understand how we could have normalized crazy. I want you to think about some things. We have two people that are not elected, that are the senior advisors of a new position. Now, I thought that the GOP was all about for smaller government. But here, let's just create a whole new position. The Department of Government Efficiency. And the two people that are the most influential in it aren't elected. We did not elect them. We, as Blue Dots, sure as shit didn't elect them. But over them, the person in Congress that is going to be overseeing that is going to be overseeing people that weren't elected deciding what's going to happen with federal funds. Marjorie Taylor Greene. I can't think of anybody more abnormal for a position of that nature. The only thing she's got going for her is hatred and the normalization of crazy. If that one isn't crazy, I don't know who the fuck is. But that's one. She's going to lead a committee that's there to override the purpose of her being there in the first place. Just add that up. I mean, who holds the purse strings? Yeah, that would be Congress, starting with the House of Representatives, which she is a member of. But going beyond that, we've normalized political violence. We just had the murder of the CEO of United Healthcare. wrong, misguided, never a good answer. I advocate violence for absolutely nothing to make a change. The only reason that there is ever a time for violence is if you have no choice and you have to defend yourself with violence, if that is what is being exacted against you. Certainly has no place in our political process, but we have made that a normal thing. January 6th. Look at the riots back with the George Floyd protests. But in all of that, we have somebody like Kyle Rittenhouse, whose mommy takes him to the fray with his illegal weapon. The cops completely overlook his being there and just go ahead and he starts blaring. 3 people die. They turn him into a folk hero. And now they're saying that we're turning the guy that killed the CEO into a folk hero. No, we're not. I'm not applauding that. You know, I don't applaud political violence, but here we are. We seem to have normalized it. It seems to be a part of our makeup. How fucking crazy is that? We've also normalized say anything. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. I admin a number of groups, including the one that most of you are members of, including several others here that are more of a beneficial nature to the community. And there's another one that happens to do with the type of tractor that I have. And I'm trying to clean it up. When Facebook started their whole admin assist thing and started automatically letting people into groups based on an algorithm, yeah, that just opened up the floodgates for scammers and spammers. So, in the last couple of weeks, the new owner of the page and I have stepped up. We're taking people out of there. We're just taking them out and looking at them carefully, looking to see what they have done. That's one of the big criteria, is how much have you participated in the group. If you've been a member of the group for 2 years, you commented once when you joined 2 years ago, and you've never done another thing, not another comment, nothing, no engagement, sorry, we're taking you out. That doesn't bring anything to the group. Well, there's somebody that is just one of the lurkers in the group, that rather than reaching out and saying, hey, I don't think that's a good idea, I think you could do it this way, started by calling me an asshole. That was his opening statement, was to call me an asshole. And then went on to tell me that he had gone through my profile and he understands why, because I'm a Democrat, and telling me all of the terrible things that we are. We've normalized this say anything hate speech. It's perfectly okay now. It's not okay, people. None of this is okay. We have normalized attacking our neighbors. We're talking about actually firing into Mexico. We're talking about setting tariffs on our 2 closest trading partners. And that's not going to help any of our foreign relations people. And whether you like it or not, we live in a global society. So setting that off is just going to do nothing but hurt us. It's normalizing crazy because, by the way, it doesn't surprise anybody that we would be saying this. We wouldn't have heard this 30 years ago. None of these things would have been smacking us. That doesn't mean they didn't exist, but they wouldn't have been normalized. That would have been completely out of the norm. Having a presidential candidate who is on tape talking about grabbing women by their genitals, that would not have been normalized, people. Having a presidential candidate with 34 felony convictions would not have been normalized. But here we are. And what's that doing? Now that's going to set off trade wars. All of the things that we have worked so hard in the last 4 years to build back up, and we've done a damn good job of it, set off these trade wars. Watch the inflationary spiral then. But that's okay. We can just take our leaders and say, do whatever you want to do. Treat the American public any way you want to. Act like American oligarchs, and we'll all just sit back and let you piss on our shoulders. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to normalize that kind of crazy. Other things we're talking about. Removing what little safety net there is in the United States. For the richest country in the world, we do not have the strongest safety net. Do you know how many other countries that actually have universal health care have people that have gone bankrupt for medical bills? Pretty much none. You know how many it was in the last, I forget what the number was, but how many it's been? I think it was in the last 5 years. 634,000. That's what we're normalizing. That's what we're normalizing. We're normalizing. Interjecting theology into public classrooms. And even trying to do away with public classrooms so that we can make them all theological classrooms. If you don't think that that's what voucher programs are doing and what they're about, that's what they're about. That's being normalized. It's not acceptable. Another thing that's being normalized, and this is where I'm going to wrap it up, and it has everything to do with the conversation that I had with my friend. We have normalized demonizing differences. We have always been a diverse nation, always, from day one. Unfortunately, some of our diversity came from the terrible things we did to become, to where white Anglo-Saxons became the predominant group of people controlling everything. But we still had diversity all the way across the board. And now we're demonizing that diversity. That will destroy us. We have got to stand against this. There have got to be the Senate hearings. We have got to try to keep the people who would normalize crazy the fuck out of power. If we don't do that, I don't know how we're going to go forward. And doing it is completely counterintuitive. It is going to kill the economy, and it's going to kill this nation. We have got to stop normalizing this. All right, America. I love you. I want y'all to wish John Brittivo well. He got to take off another bunch of well-earned time and do something fun. I know how that occurred, and I want to thank that person. I'm not going to say the name directly, but I know how that occurred. And thank you, because we need that voice. And that means that he's got to heal up and rest up. That's the important stuff. Folks, if we're going to normalize something, let's normalize taking care of each other. I love you, America. Share this shit.